How's it going, everybody? Coming to you today from the driveway because we are going to be installing the Hepco Becker Rear Rack on the Honda Monkey that I got from motomachines.com. Motomachines.com is a great place to order parts if you need something. Fast shipping. They've got tons of different things in stock for tons of different motorcycles. So check out motomachines.com if you need to get something for your bike, especially if you need something like this Hepco and Becker rear rack for the Monkey. Now we're going to go ahead and do the install on this, and we're going to get right on it. The Hepco Becker installs slightly different than some of the other racks out there. It actually wraps around your turn signals, so there's a little bit more involved in the installation of this versus some of the normal racks that you see out there. But we'll get to that. The first step you're going to do is going to be to remove your seat. And to remove your seat, you've got bolts on each side here in the front. You can use a 6mm hex key or a 12mm socket, whichever you prefer. And there's going to be one on each side that you have to remove. Once you get your bolts removed, you just kind of work your seat and it'll come up and off. Going backwards. You got this little hook here, hooks in back here. You kind of got to lift and work it back. And now your seat's removed. To get to the bolts that hold the turn signal and tail light assembly on, you've got to loosen up 3 bolts right here. Those are 10mm. You've got 2 screws that are just regular Phillips. And then up here in the front, I can't really get a shot of it. There's 2 of the push tabs that Honda uses on almost all of their bikes. So just use a Phillips screwdriver, and a 10mm is all you need. And you're removing these little screws, 1 on each side. And then the 3 10mm bolts. And sorry about the wind, it has decided to pick up and become windy after I had already started the video. And I didn't feel like putting everything back together and waiting for the wind to die down. So if the wind is an issue, I apologize. I don't know how well it's going to pick up on video. It's also pretty chilly out, so if you hear me sniffling, sorry about that too. Okay. You can now kind of see we got 3 button head bolts up in here. And they are also 10mm. With those removed, you can work your light up and around. And these may fall out. These are just what you're going to push back up in for the bolt to go, or the nut to go against. Once you have your brake light and your turn signal assembly loose, underneath here you've got 3 more screws that you have to take off. or I'm sorry, 4 more. There's 4 screws that you have to take off. So you'll probably have to pull it over one side and then pull it over to the other to get the other 2. Okay, with those off, you should be able to get your top cover off, and then you're going to get to these bolts right here to remove the turn signal. This is an 8mm. I can't get a ratchet and socket in there, so you'll need a wrench. Once you remove that bolt, you'll be able to move your turn signal up. The last step to get things ready is your upper shock mount. You're gonna have to loosen these nuts off of your upper shock. And they are held in place with a 14mm. So you'll open your packaging up, and inside you'll find a little pamphlet showing several of the things that Hepco and Becker make and offer. They are a German company, been around 50 plus years, makers of really high quality stuff. Inside you'll find the rack itself and your package with instructions and mounting hardware. Inside your instructions, you get your service info, gives you all your torque specs, then your actual instructions for the Honda Monkey. I got this in black. It is available in chrome if you want to use chrome. And okay, we're gonna go nuts. Pretty simple. Your mounting hardware is going to go small washer on the bolt, big washer goes under your frame, and then your nut will attach to it like that. And you got 2 of these to attach to the subframe here underneath the seat. Feed in one side and feed that through the other. And now you're ready to start reassembling. It's a whole lot of work to get to that, but it's not difficult work. Just to kind of get this out of the way, I went ahead and set the mount on the front bolts. That way I could get in here and work on this without this really being too much in the way. So now we're gonna reinstall the 8mm bolt we took out for the tail light. I'm sorry, turn signal. After you get your 8mm bolt, reinstall your cover. It'll clip on. After your cover's clipped into place, use your 4 screws that you removed to reconnect the cover. You're gonna have a little bit less room to work, so you may have to switch screwdrivers. You're gonna have to figure out what works for you to get up underneath there to get these reinstalled. Once you get your 4 screws underneath, you can go ahead and realign your weather gasket and your tail light assembly and try to get it all back up in there. Don't forget, if these little spacers came out, you'll need to put them back in, and then reattach your button nut, and then use your 10mm and make for sure they're snug. There we go. On your shock tower, you've got your nut, a thick washer, a thin washer, and then the shock itself. You're going to want to put this in between the two washers, and you'll want to do it on both sides. So with it in place, use your 14mm, kind of pull up on the rack, and you're not really tightening it down. You just want it cinched up enough to where it's not going to fall. Now you're going to take your included hardware. It's going to be your bolt with the washer. The spacer is going to go in between the frame and the rack, and then the nut on the bottom side. And getting up in here is a little tight as well. Once you get it both sides started, take a 13mm wrench and your 6mm hex key, come in from the side to hold the nut, and then tighten with your hex. And you'll do that on both sides. Once you have both of the rear bolts tight, go ahead and retighten your shock upper mount bolts. And that is, again, using that same 14mm. All right, that's got this mounted up. Now we just need to button up underneath here, put the seat on, and we're done. Well, there you go, everybody. That is the install of the Hepco Becker Rear Rack for the Honda Monkey. Available from motomachines.com. Pretty straightforward install. A few extra steps than some of the other ones that are out there, but it looks really good, and I believe it's really going to function for what I need it to do. So let me give you a close-up look, and we'll close out the video. There it is. It looks really good. It was a few more steps to get it to wrap around the turn signals the way it does, but I think it looks really good that way, and it's super strong. It says 6.6 pounds is the recommended maximum weight, but I believe everybody probably stresses a little too much on that weight. With the way it's attached, I believe you'd hold more. However, your mileage may vary. It does say 6.6 pounds max load. So use at your own caution if you want to go over that. I personally believe it would hold more than that. But again, use at your own risk. And yeah, looks really good on the bike. It's going to help me make the Monkey into my micro adventure bike. So thank you guys for watching. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.